Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpru.com.
Okay. Good evening and welcome back to Leadership Live. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier. Okay, if you can give me like 1 second, I'm having like a little bit of a technical difficulty. Okay, I think we got it now. So good evening, welcome back to Leadership Live. Always look forward to Tuesday nights and really just hanging out with you, talking about my favorite topic, small business. Always appreciate everybody joining in and always, thank you for your comments. Feel free to ask questions because we're really doing it for you. So, this week we're going to be talking about one of your most important jobs as a business owner. And it's really about marketing and sales. At the end of the day, if you don't market and sell well, your business isn't going to do nearly as well as it could have done. So that's why we dedicate a lot of episodes to that, because there's a lot of things to learn in terms of marketing and selling, and there's so many ways to do it. So we have great guests who talk about, sort of how they do it and what they've learned in their expertise. And today I'm excited. We got our guest, Brett Knopf, and, he really looks at it in an interesting way. So I think you're going to get a lot out of today's session. We were hanging out last Friday at a conference, and, we really just were talking about kind of what we're doing. And I really like his approach to sales. So I think you're going to get a lot out of it. We're going to be talking about everyday people, extraordinary sales with Brett Knopf. And let's bring him on. Hey, Brett, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Andrew. How are you?
I'm excellent. Always looking forward to Tuesday nights. I appreciate you coming on tonight and joining us.
My pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, excellent. So, you have a lot of experience, in leadership and sales. So definitely look forward to just, try to dig out as much as we can from you, so we can take away as much value as possible. So looking forward to that. But before we get started, why don't you talk a little bit about your journey so people know a little bit about you, sort of how you transition and how you got to where you are now. And then we'll start the conversation from there.
Yeah, by all means. And for what it's worth, I'm going to try to make your job easy, not much digging to be done. We're going to open the whole playbook here. So in any event, my name is Brett Knopf. I spent over 2 decades in leadership and sales management roles, mostly in service-based industries, hospitality, health and wellness. I did have a entrepreneurial venture back in the mid 2000s. My colleagues and I were one of Google's first paid search partners, to the tune of, hey, this is Brett with Google. And that was completely inbounds and encouraged. this went on to be an $80 billion industry and could have been my early retirement, but instead became a very valuable lesson in business and friendship and the perils of those things, rapid overexpansion, and some missteps along the way. So regrettably, that didn't pan out as intended, but was a tremendous experience at the time and from a learning perspective. So fast forward, I during the pandemic, I was working at a company, one of the largest fitness companies in the world. I was a regional director over there, overseeing a team of over 300, 7 different locations throughout Manhattan. Loved it, was fun, was impactful, doing good work internally with the team members, doing good work on the client's behalf. Pandemic hits, and all of a sudden, my fun, impactful job gets taken away from me through no fault of their own, through no fault of my own, and I'm left in this limbo state, feeling like, I lost control of pretty much everything that I had held near and dear to this point. Um, at that juncture in my life, I had both of my sons, or more accurately, my wife had our son. She did most of the heavy lifting on that front. Um, so I remember sitting in January of 2021. I had COVID at that point, and I said to myself, I'm not going to leave my fate or my family's fate in anyone else's hands other than myself moving forward. So I asked myself a few questions. What do I love to do? What am I best at? And where can I make the greatest impact? And then in conjunction with that, what skills do I have and don't I have that can help me actualize the vision that I was creating? And that's how I landed on this performance coaching and business strategist model, taking all of my accumulated experience, continuing to invest in my personal and professional development, so that I can get out there and work with leadership teams, work with organizations, and help them create work environments where personal development was a heavy emphasis and the catalyst for elevated team performance. I wanted to help create work environments where people actually want to be there, working hard for themselves, their teammates, their leadership team, and towards what was ideally a clearly defined organizational mission, vision, purpose, and tethered to very clear core values. So people are in alignment. So I've been doing that work for the last several years. Again, love it. It's impactful, and trying to change the dynamic, one organization, one leader at a time, to create these types of positive, empowering work environments.
Excellent, excellent. So I love hearing people's journeys because everybody's journey is different, and but definitely, early on, we learn. You can learn a lot of lessons along the way, and partnerships and friends and family. Most people have learned lessons there, myself included. But you come out stronger and you come out smarter, and as long as you keep getting up and keep coming back, that's really what it's all about. So definitely appreciate you guys joining in. Thanks, Karen, for checking in. Christine, Brett, and definitely feel free to keep the comments coming, as well as any questions you may have. So, Brett, we do this through the Small Business Pro University. Told you a little bit about it, but just have a short video so that we can share with everybody who's on what we're about, what we do, and then we'll come back talking small business. Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth. Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth, and the owners are not making enough money. I founded the Small Business Pro University to help business owners break that cycle by empowering them with greater knowledge and enhanced skills to lead their companies more effectively. Over the past 15 years, I've worked one-on-one with more than 1,000 business owners and taught tens of thousands of people about business. My experience includes serving as a Navy officer, graduating from MIT, earning an MBA from NYU, and achieving the CFA designation. Small Business Pro University empowers entrepreneurs like you to run their businesses more professionally and create sustainable enterprises. Small Business Pro University provides access to valuable resources, partnerships, and relationships that will help you to grow revenue, increase profit, and obtain financing faster and easier. Our Masterpreneur initiatives include more than 100 expert-led multimedia courses and training programs with more than 2,500 lessons. The Small Business Pro Network, our private community for entrepreneurs. Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, our weekly live stream and podcast. Advanced Learning Institutes focused on revenue generation, profit maximization, and capital acquisition. And the Power Breakfast series, in-person events where business owners learn best practices, enjoy great networking, and gain useful knowledge. If you want to sell more and make more, you need to check out Small Business Pro University. Visit our website at www.sbprou.com. Okay, good evening. Back here at Leadership Live. I'm here with Brett Knopf, and we're talking small business. The topic today is everyday people, extraordinary sales success. So now, Brett, this title also comes from a book that you put together, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what this title means. What does that mean to you, and what do you have in the book that defines sort of how you approach sales?
Yeah, so I think there's a misconception or certainly something that we've all likely heard at various points in our lives, that such and such is a natural born salesperson. And while perhaps that could be true in certain cases, I find that for the most part, sales is a learned skill. And sales, regrettably, because of some people that take it and utilize it solely for personal gain, has a very negative connotation attached to it. I personally have experienced that, as I'm sure we all have. People selling us a false bill of goods, people selling us things that did not actually benefit us. And to an extent, there's some ownership that needs to happen on our end as consumers to prevent against that. But some people are very good at pulling the wool over our eyes and having us spend our hard-earned money in places that aren't necessarily as beneficial as promised. So in any event, Everyday People, Extraordinary Sales Success was born from the premise of anyone and everyone is a salesperson in some way, shape, or form. And I'm sure a lot of us have heard that as well. And I truly believe that holds true. But I wrote this book because, number one, I'm not a natural born salesperson. In fact, I was terrified of sales, wildly uncomfortable, especially as I got into my first formal sales position. I was selling something that actually did not benefit people, and it felt gross, it felt slimy, it felt out of integrity for me. So as I transitioned into working in health and wellness, where the service was inarguably fundamentally beneficial to people, I started to really find my groove when it came to this. And it turned into this overarching thought process, overarching feeling that it would be doing people a disservice if I wasn't very direct in asking the questions to figure out how this could best fit what they needed, solve a problem they had. And the book is really focused on integrity-based sales. It's focused on making sure that whatever you are selling is in alignment with your values. Whatever you're selling is something that definitively benefits the end user. Because if it doesn't, don't do it, please. Please don't do it. I have my title here. This is the second company I co-founded, Elite Performance Partners. My first company, KnopfKnows Solutions, is titled KnopfKnows Solutions because I want to make sure that if I don't have the answer, I don't want to take people's money. I want to help concierge that solution for them. And I think that the more that people in sales, leaders, organizations at large that are selling products or service focus on what can I give to my customers rather than what can I get from my customers, they're going to have a lot more financial success. They're going to be able to rest easier at night. And both internal employees and external customers are going to be naturally attracted to that because it's real. It's integrity based, and it's with the intention of creating wins all around rather than this zero-sum game of someone wins, someone loses.
Okay. All right. Okay. So integrity is really important, and creating value for someone. Like how you mentioned, it's a product service fit. If you don't, it doesn't fit with you, it's difficult for you to be able to sell it. So now, when you're starting out in sales or you're talking to people about sales, what would you say is sales 101? Where should people start if they want to learn how to sell and really build their sales? Because for a business owner, that's many times what they need to do, and many times they haven't had any training in it, so they're not really knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, I think this holds true for just about everything, and I somewhat alluded to it in my intro, but you got to take inventory of what skills you do and don't have. And in sales, in this particular instance, if you haven't done it, or even if you have done it at any level of success, there's always people that are doing it better than any one of us. So I'm a big advocate for studying success. First and foremost, identifying what skill or what it is that you want to level up in, and then going out there and finding the resources to help you continue to cultivate that particular skill set. So, in this instance, whether you're in an organization, you want to find the people that are having the most success and pick their brain, get that feedback loop going, see what they are doing that's led to that success for them. See what kind of adversity and challenges they've had and how they've overcome that. And I think that's a cheat code, so to speak, to fast tracking success in any particular area. And gratefully, beyond whatever's going on internally with your team, and hopefully they have a strong learning and development system in place for you, but all of the information that has ever existed is accessible to every single one of us. So being resourceful and finding the resources that are going to create that continuing education program, curriculum, opportunity, whatever way you want to put it, is something that I highly advise. Daily, lifelong learning is paramount to continuing to elevate in sales, or like I keep referencing, any other skill or aptitude you're trying to improve upon.
Okay, so continual learning is key. You talked about talk to people with experience, because many times, like you said, salespeople, even the best, they are continually learning themselves and getting better. Actually, one of my events, the Power Breakfast, one of my speakers, he talked about connecting the dots for success. And he was talking about his sales career and actually how his, he got the leading sales guy of his company to teach him. And, one of the things I always forget is, he was like, you ask for, they were selling cable TV. It was like, you get down on a knee and you ask them for the sale, and you don't get up until you get the sale.
Nice.
So not to say that that's good practices, but there's many different ways to do it. And, it worked for them. Each industry, each type of product is different. How do you approach, selling different products? I know your clients have different types of products. What are some of the differences in sales approaches that you've seen based on different types of products?
Yeah, well, I think everything largely needs a customized approach. So, again, one of the things that is critically important to sales success is studying your product and service inside and out. You've got to know all the intricacies. You've got to become a subject matter expert on the product or service that you're selling, and then there needs to be that practice. You got to get those repetitions in, whether that's role play, whether that's you have audio or visual recordings where you can, as I like to put it, study your game tape so you can understand the tonality and the body language, and how people responded to this word or this phrase, or how you overcame this objection or didn't overcome that objection. So I think there's a heavy degree of, once again, learning and studying and practicing that goes into becoming a leading salesperson. As far as the different products or services, again, I've worked with a variety of different individuals and organizations. Some sell intangible services, some sell very tangible products, and with each, I don't think it needs to differ tremendously. I think that the majority of sales is mindset oriented. It's the philosophy of what you bring into it. I'll go with the Pareto principle of 80% is mindset, 20% is mechanics, and that 20% mechanics is more so what I mentioned as far as studying and practicing, so that you can really become that subject matter expert. But it's the mental game. It's the approach. It's things like expecting successful outcomes. It's things like giving versus getting mentality. It's things like being more interested than interesting, and things like active listening, and all of that fun stuff that really makes a huge difference. I guess some of that could fall into the mechanics bucket per se, but I think it's more the mindset around it of, I want to figure out what you have going on as the consumer, and I want to provide that direct, specific solution to your needs. And if I don't, let me help refer you to the people or companies that do have the answer for you. And frankly, I've found the people that I've walked away from because on either side we've determined it's not the appropriate fit, have become some of my best referral partners, because I'm just trying to do right by them. So treat people with respect, treat people with dignity, and have that, I'll use the word again, integrity, to not just take people's money if it's not something that directly solves their problem or fills that particular need.
Okay, excellent. So, definitely, building a relationship with people is key. And, sometimes you can, build a relationship better by not taking them on as a client, then taking them on based on what you're saying,
Yes.
um, which makes sense. So now we talk about sales, we talk about marketing. You know, what's the difference? How do you look at the differences between those, and how do they work together?
Yeah. Well, regrettably, a lot of times they don't work together. You mentioned that we were at the event the other day, the Digital Marketing World Forum, and our mutual friend Jimmy Newsom was on stage, just talking about that point that there seems to be a breakdown in communication a lot of times between marketing and sales, and that's regrettable because when they work in conjunction, a lot of magic can happen. And to me, the distinction is, the marketing is more of the promotion of the product or service, and the sales is the delivery of the product or service and that solution, in the most simplistic terms. And again, when they work in conjunction with each other, that's where you really see the best success, in organizations. I think they need to be communicating with each other on a regular basis, so that the marketing sets things up. I think marketing, business development as well, in just teeing up the opportunities for the salespeople to really hone in on what the specific features and benefits are for the end user, are made clear upfront by the marketing efforts, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. So they should work hand in hand, but they don't always. Um, and I guess, I try and look at it as, I think of it as the better you market, the easier it is to sell.
Yeah.
And, if you get good enough at marketing, you might not even have to sell anymore.
No, people will just self-select into it without someone else having to come in and be that third party. I agree with that.
Yeah. So, but everything has to be in alignment to do that. So definitely makes sense. So yeah, we're covering some good stuff. What I want to do real quick is take a break. We've been doing the live stream for 4 years now, and we're actually going to have a fourth anniversary episode. So here's a short video about what we're going to be doing. What significant business developments have occurred over the last 4 years? The advent of AI for mainstream use, interest rates increasing by more than 5%, and the rise of the virtual office and the gig economy. But most importantly, over 200 episodes of Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, have aired. These episodes have shared a trove of valuable knowledge for entrepreneurs on how they can sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth faster and easier. To commemorate this milestone, we're having a special live stream episode on October 29th, highlighting the best of last year, along with special guests and giveaways. You don't want to miss it. Join us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube to participate live at 8:05 Eastern on Tuesday, October 29th. Okay, great. We're back here, Leadership Live. I'm here with Brett Knopf, talking small business. So, Brett, you talked about, we have to continually learn. There's unlimited access to resources and knowledge out there, which is great, but also that can be a bad thing, because you shouldn't follow everybody's information and ideas. So just real quick, Catherine popped in, so she just wanted to say hi and all. But so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So much of this comes down to being crystal clear on what it is that you want to do, Who do you want to be? And when you're crystal clear on that, you can have a better lens through which to vet the appropriate resources. So I referenced it a bit earlier, but you want to identify and emulate people who are having success in the areas that you are looking to have a high level success in. There is a lot of noise out there. And to your point, with all the resources, it's easy to get distracted, bright, shiny object syndrome, investing your time, money, and energy into the quote unquote wrong places. If we go with everything's a lesson and not a loss, maybe it's okay anyway. But ideally, we can go more directly towards the intended outcomes when we know what those intended outcomes are. Because there's so many people out there that have podcasts, they've written books, they have coaching and mentorship programs and workshops and seminars and retreats and all of that. So in some cases, you can access all of the free resources, which are great. And that's terrific. In some, you get more direct coaching and mentorship and implementation of those things. It's situation dependent, it's individual dependent, but the key component of this is to really, really focus on what it is that you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your business, so that you can go as directly as possible in seeking out and then applying the information you gather from those resources. Because it's not knowledge that's power, it's applied knowledge that's power, because that gets you the data to understand what's working and what's not working so you can make the necessary adjustments.
Okay. Excellent. So who do you follow? Who do you learn from in terms of sales or your business? How do you continually learn?
Yeah, I go to some of the greats, and I say some of the greats just by the math of number of books they've sold and things like that. So John Maxwell, for example, would be one. I go Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling would be another one. I've invested well into the six figures into my own personal and professional development over the last several years. So, I've worked with a gentleman, David Meltzer, as my direct coach, and he has a great approach to sales and business development and networking and just treating other human beings with respect and dignity, aside from anything else. So I go in those directions. Layla Hormozy, Alex Hormozy. There's so many people out there that either are directly or indirectly my mentors, and just as something from my personal philosophy on life and learning, I look at everybody as an unofficial mentor. I'm looking to learn something from every conversation, every individual I interact with, and ideally give them something of value first and foremost. But even with 20 plus years of sales leadership and being an advisor to 9-10 figure businesses, I'm constantly looking to learn more about sales and leadership and time management and things I'm already strong in, but it's people better. So why not continue to learn from them and enhance and elevate those skill sets?
Okay, excellent. So yeah, no, definitely, there's a lot of people you can learn from. Sometimes the people who want you to learn from them the most are probably not the people that you should be trying to learn from. Because they're more focused on selling it to you than otherwise. Actually, when I work with people, there's really three key books that I always recommend, and you've probably read them or are familiar with them. Number one is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's number one best. Two is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Um, and that's not just about sales, but it's really about helping you to understand what it takes to make a successful business, and how you have to get out of your own way many times to be able to do that. And then finally, the one-page marketing plan by Alan Dibb. Not sure if you're
No, I'm not familiar with
fan
that
of
one.
his, but that was the best book I've read for small business marketing, to date. So definitely, those three are always good, and of course my books are good too. So, but I recommended those before I even wrote my book. So,
Fair enough.
but yeah, so I think that there's a lot of things that go into selling and sales. Um, let's take it with your business. Um, when you have to sell as part of your business, what is your strategy, or how do you develop a sale, or how what's your process
Sure.
for delivering your sales?
Yeah. Well, number one, I think this goes more towards the marketing piece is who's my audience? Who is going to be the person or the organization that raises their hand and says, based on what he's saying, that's the guy for me. So that ideal client profile is critically important to understand. You know what do they need? Where what are they interested in? Where are they having success? Where are they having challenges? What are those pain points? And I think there's in some of the more sleazy sales scenarios, this predatory way of going after pain points. I don't like that. I'm curious because I want to alleviate that pain, but I'm not gonna prey on that. So for me, a lot of it is a consultative approach. I ask a lot of questions to try to cut through some of the more surface level answers and help people during calls and interactions really get introspective and drill down into what the root cause of some of the challenges they're having, but also to paint that picture and illustrate what it is they're trying to accomplish. And I get excited in really co-authoring solutions when I'm on a sales call with someone. I don't go in with any preconceived notions. I just want to ask questions and listen, and then let's figure out what the best delivery of the service is going to look like for you, what the best outcome is going to look like for you, what's the timeline in which you want to receive that outcome, so that we can take a more curated, customized, bespoke approach to things rather than being cookie cutter and just trying to fit people in a box, and that one size fits all approach. And just everyone's individual, and they should be treated as such. So I guess I say all that to say that my sales approach is very much with that mindset of, let me be more interested than interesting. I'm not going to talk too much about myself or how great I am and all the results I've been able to deliver, but more so let's put the focus on them and actively listen so that can find those pinpoint those opportunities for us to deliver the most direct solution to their problems and their needs.
Okay. So, very consultative and solution oriented. So now you said the people that raise their hands. So, who are those people and how do you find them?
So I've got two different mentioned. In KnopfKnows Solutions, I'm a performance coach, and I work with leaders and leadership teams, specifically in sales leadership. And those individuals are typically running teams of anywhere from 5 to 100 team members, primarily in service-based industries. And the problem they're facing is just the attraction, retention, and development of top tier talent. And a lot of that comes down to a lack of really concrete learning and development programs in place or infrastructure in place. It comes down to a lack of really honing in on that personal development piece, taking a genuine interest in why they're there in the first place, what they're looking to accomplish internally, what's important to them externally, how can you support them in that endeavor, what resources can you provide to help them grow as people. So I find these individuals. LinkedIn is a great spot to find those individuals. I network a ton. I'm in so many different groups, and like I've already mentioned, I love talking to people and figuring out how I can best either directly serve them or pass them along to people who can serve them more appropriately than I'm able to. But those are the people that I typically look for and that I work well with. And ideally, those individuals have already been on some type of personal development journey themselves. They've taken steps to focus in on their own growth, so that it's not I don't want to hard sell. I don't want to try to have you first understand the importance of it. I want you to understand the importance of it, and then I'm going to give you a ton of value and structure around how to bring that to your team. And I'm going to lead by example and going in there and working directly with individual leaders, leadership teams, the sales teams directly. So that's KnopfKnows Solutions. In Elite Performance Partners, again, the coaching and consulting space is littered with people who, in worst case scenarios, are just overcharging people and under delivering on the promises. And a lot of people calling themselves coaches and consultants with not the cachet to back it up. So those aren't the folks that I want to be working with, or my partner and I want to be working with in Elite Performance Partners. We're looking more so for those 0 to 3 year coach consultants. So 0 year being still in the corporate space, coaching or consulting as a side hustle and looking to transition into that being their main practice, a full-on business, up to 3 years that are having trouble getting out of this, I guess, how do I put it? Being self-employed instead of being a business owner. So we come in and we go soup to nuts in helping them create a more comprehensive business plan, implementing more comprehensive business systems, so CRMs and client acquisition systems and all that good stuff. We get into more of the advanced coaching techniques like neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, neuroscience. We partnered up with a neuroscientist who does brain mapping so we can get even more in-depth and nuanced in how our coaches are able to go out there and serve the clientele. So I look at this as a multiplier effect of the work my partner and I do, so they can go out there and change work environments for the better. And in that particular business, and same deal, LinkedIn is the primary playground, to some extent Facebook, but those are the two businesses and the two quote unquote avatars, and where we look to connect and add value through content and ideally hopping on a consultation call so that whether they decide to work with us or not, we can give them something they can take away and utilize that's going to enhance their progress and results for themselves and their clients.
Excellent. So, definitely, it's good to see sort of where you're going on there. I'm going to take a quick break, do a little bit about an upcoming event that we have, which is our Power Breakfast event. So hopefully, if you're in Jersey or New York, you may want to join us. We have events 3 times a year for entrepreneurs and business owners. And let's see. Okay. So there's a image, but Friday, November 8th, we're going to be at the Park Avenue Club in Florham Park. And we've been doing this for over 12 years and really has helped a lot of people get opportunities for business as well as opportunities for financing. And the night before, we always do a networking event. So we're going to be at Montclair Brewery on Thursday, November 7th. So you're welcome to join us there as well. And just so you can see a little bit about what the event looks like, I got a short video, and then we'll be back talking small business. If you are looking to increase revenue, if you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences.
My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day.
All right, great. We're back here with Brett Knopf talking small business, everyday extraordinary, or everyday people, extraordinary success in sales. So, Brett, we've talked about quite a few things, but one challenge I run into with a lot of business owners is, that step in going from themselves to hiring a salesperson. A lot of times they want to hire someone to sell, and most times it's not successful. So, what advice would you give or guidance would you give to a business owner who is thinking about hiring or bringing on a salesperson or a small sales team?
Yeah, and I encounter that quite a bit as well, for what it's worth. So I think this is really applicable to any hire, and throughout the duration of this conversation, you've heard me use the word specificity a bunch. So I think hiring managers get into trouble, business owners get into trouble when they're looking to make these hires because they're not crystal clear on what the role entails. So they're throwing that spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks, rather than having that hyper specificity on the job function itself. They don't necessarily know the values and the mission and the purpose of their organization, so that when they make a hire, it's a bit random, frankly. So what I would advise is be clear on mission, vision, values, purpose, and not just words on paper, words on a wall, actually living and breathing that day after day within the organization and making decisions through that lens, and then tailoring your interview questions specifically to determine whether the candidates have those shared values, whether they want to be part of that mission and that vision, whether they have the experience or the ability to learn enough through your training and development programs to be able to get to a level that leads to strong and sustainable success for them and your team. Yeah, I think it's too random in most cases, from just the top of the pyramid, mission, vision, values, purpose, as all the way down to job description and interview questions to really vet people properly to make sure it's the appropriate fit. And then, like I said, on the back end, having the learning and development programs in place to not just throw people to the wolves and say, go get them, Tiger, but really help them grow and improve in their role so that they can help subsequent team members do the same.
Okay, excellent. So, really successful hiring begins before you even interview people. You've got to have clarity around who you are and what you're doing. Salespeople is especially tough because a lot of times, if you're a small business owner, you've never had one, and you don't really know what they're supposed to do. And the other thing is, you assume that they can do more than they can. Like you said, a lot of times they get thrown to the wolves. Like, okay, you're here, go sell stuff.
Figure it out.
It takes more than that. So, if you're bringing a salesperson in, you got to bring them in. But what other tools do you need? What do they need to be able to sell successfully?
I think it's situation dependent to an extent, but from a more general answer, I think they need, like I've already mentioned, continued learning and development and having the resources in that area so that they can both understand the product, service, customer, client base, so that they're delivering those direct, specific solutions to the end user. I think that there needs to be clear CRMs so that there can be tracking mechanisms in place to see where people are at in the sales life cycle. I think there needs to be an emphasis on client retention, client referrals. I find that in most, or a lot of cases anyhow, there's always an emphasis on the new business rather than cultivating the current clientele and keeping them in the mix, having them repurchase if it's that type of product or service, and then referrals. I think that they just need a supportive ecosystem. And like we've said a couple of times here, not a throw you to the wolves mentality, but if you're a business owner, a small business owner in particular, you either are going to handhold the process or you're going to have outside coaches, consultants come in so that you're able to offer that additional layer of support and people who have been there, done that to help grow the leaders and the sales team as a whole. And that's not just a plug for my services, by the way.
Okay. All right. Not sure why my video is not coming, but hopefully you can hear me okay.
Sure can.
All right. Excellent.
My son just popped into the mix, so apologies to
okay. No problem.
In the audience. He disrupts potentially.
Yeah, that just makes it more interesting. So, you talked about a supportive ecosystem. What about expectations? If you're hiring a salesperson, should they be selling stuff next week, next month, next quarter? What's how should you look at what to expect from them?
Well, I think that once again, you need to be in what your expectations are and communicate that during the interview process, not once they get in the door. And I see that mistake made a lot, going back to lack of clarity and specificity in what the role entails, and interview questions to determine whether people are coming in with that requisite level of experience to come out of the gates and start selling in a week, or whether it's going to be a more lengthy onboarding process to get them up to speed. And it's also very circumstantial to what the business is, what the product or service is. Some are quick hit, you get on a call and sale is done. Some are 6, 9, 12-month sales cycles. So I do like that you brought up expectations, because it's so critically important to be clear on those things. And I find a lot of problems arise, and certainly problems can be avoided if everyone is clear on what's expected up front, and that we then, from a leadership perspective, are not tough on the people, but we're tough on those standards. We're tough on the expectations that have been clearly laid out. This is Ashton. Yeah, good to see you, pal. So that would be how I'd frame that up in particular.
Okay. All right. Makes a lot of sense. There definitely expectations, and it's an investment. You're not going to, in most cases, especially if you're a first salesperson, you may not get a ROI within 3 months. Probably not. Depending on what type of business it is and what type of support. But my experience is it's been a longer term, if you're bringing a salesperson in, it's a longer term investment rather than a short term investment. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Very much. I like that you're using the word investment, because that's exactly what it is. You got to invest in the human capital here. And if you're clear on the expectations with yourself, let alone with any individual that you hire, it's going to be a lot easier to wait it out and know that it may take a little bit in order for you to see that ROI. And if you can get it right to the best of your ability up front, you're going to save a lot of time, money, aggravation. Then if you're just speeding through the process, not clear on all the things we've mentioned to this point, do your best to really be clear. And just again, there's resources out there for small business owners to look into how to best make that first hire, sales or otherwise.
Okay, excellent. So, the evening always goes really fast. We're bumping up on 9 o'clock, but this definitely been great chatting. But before I let you go, we want to just get 3 key things that everybody should take away from what we talked about tonight, so that they can start working on implementing them starting tomorrow. What are 3 things that people should take away? So I'll play a short video about what we're working on launching later this month, and then come back with Brad, and he can share 3 key things that you can take away from what we talked about today. What is the ultimate business ecosystem for helping entrepreneurs to accelerate and grow their business? Of course, the Small Business Pro University. Become an associate member to enjoy the benefits like accessing a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, test driving multimedia, online, on-demand mini courses on important business topics, participating in live Ask the Expert and Power Networking sessions. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier. I've worked one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners and taught more than 10,000 people about business. Join today to take advantage of charter membership pricing. Visit www.sbpru.com/membership and join today. Okay, welcome back. I'm here with Brett Knopf, talking small business. Topic was everyday people, extraordinary sales success. Brett's going to share 3 key things that you can take away from our conversation tonight, because many times you can't remember more than 3 things anyways. So
I can't
simplify it. So, all right, what do you got?
All right, top 3 things. Number 1, you've heard me say this a number of times tonight: be more interested than interesting. Really focus on the other person so that you can actively listen and deliver the specific solution to whatever the problem or the need is on their end. Number 2, have a give versus a get mentality. So go into every interaction, and whether it's sales or otherwise, with the intention of giving value to other people. And more often than not, you're going to receive, you're going to get as a natural byproduct of that. And that's without expectation of direct receipt from any particular individual. Givers gain is a great motto to live by and to sell by. And lastly, be crystal clear in figuring out what you want to do, your goals, your vision, your mission, your purpose, your values. Figure out who's already doing it at the highest levels. Study them, study success. And that can be through free content, books, or it can be more advanced coaching, consulting, mentorship, seminars, retreats, etc., and apply what it is that you're learning so you can gather the data to figure out what's working for you and what's not working for you in order to fine tune and make adjustments. Those are 3 things that stand out to me and have served me well, have served the clients that I've been able to serve well, and the people in my life have been served well by that additionally.
Okay, excellent. So be more interested than interesting. So that's a big Dale Carnegie focus as well. It's about the other people, and who you're going to help. Give versus get. So definitely that makes a lot of sense. And then clarity. Definitely too many people are in business and don't even have a business plan. So it takes work to get the clarity, but if you get the clarity, you're going to achieve much greater results. So no, this has been great, Brett. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Definitely, if you want to connect with Brett, here's his LinkedIn profile. It's in the chat. Also, if you want to take a look at his website, he actually has a free course or mini book of the same topic. So if you want to learn more about what we discussed, definitely that's available to you for free. So appreciate you, Brett, making that available to our listeners as well.
My pleasure.
Anything you want to share before we close out?
Apply. If anything resonated with you here, just apply it. See what works for you. Happy to be a resource. I really enjoy having these conversations, and I'm appreciative of you, Andrew, for doing what you do for your viewers and your community, and just keep up the strong work on your end, please. Okay, great. Well, I appreciate it. Hang on for a minute as I close out. I guess I'm the invisible man tonight. I don't know what's up with my computer, but it has been like moving slow and acting weird all day. So I'm not
totally surprised. But yeah, so but as we close out, thanks again for joining us again. Let me just put picture up so you can sort of see me, so it's not a blank screen. But enjoyed having Brett on tonight. Obviously he knows a lot about what he's doing, and appreciate him sharing his expertise. As as I mentioned before, this is our we're at 4 years, over 200 episodes of the show. So plus appreciate everybody in the audience continuing to tune in, continuing to comment, continuing to ask questions. So definitely that's very much appreciated as well. As you know, each week we have a great guest. So just to give you a preview of next week, we're going to talk about employing extreme ownership to achieve breakthrough results. Anatoly Levinsky, and I think that he has a really great way of really focusing on your business such that you'll be able to get much greater results. So employing extreme ownership to achieve breakthrough results, that's next week. And really at the end of the day, as a business owner, the more you know, the faster you grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live.
Okay. Well, hopefully this video will play.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.